Greetings. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to come and to share with you in this moment and in this time. Let me quickly say that the church I currently serve, the Greater Mount Carmel Baptist Church of Oklahoma City, does not follow the liturgical calendar. But in my attempt to honor the request to use it, I found a passage of scripture that speaks to me as we make our way through Advent and make our way to Christmas Day. What an honor it is to be a part of this preaching presentation across this nation. And let me just say thank you again for the request and the invitation. In Luke, starting at verse 2, and the B part of that verse through the next verse, which is the 49th verse, and ending with the A part of the 49th verse, you'll find these words in Holy Scripture and our focus for these brief moments. Child, why have you treated us like this? Look, your father and I have been searching for you in great anxiety. He said to them, this is Jesus speaking, why were you searching for me? My title is simply Searching for Christ in Christmas. The search is on. It really started the day after Halloween, or even prior to Halloween. Advent began with the first Sunday in December, but the search for Christmas and Christ is an ongoing ordeal. I must admit, as I have grown more mature and older, Christmas has become a time of deep introspection, deep review, and consternation. Why? So you might ask, partly because it has become such a commercial venture that sometimes the very fact of what we are celebrating gets lost in the commercials and the jingles and the rhymes and all of the paraphernalia that goes along with what we do as we celebrate Christmas. I believe every Christmas season we began to search for Christmas. I think there's something we're looking for every holiday season around this time, and we began to search for Christ in Christmas. We know he's there, but sometimes it's just difficult finding him. For those of us who are actively involved in the church, it is an ongoing process. It evades us to some degree, to some extent, and causes us to give in to the pressures of what we have created as the Christmases we celebrate. These verses in Luke, part of the liturgical calendar, brings me to a part of more than just observation, a point of observation, but the point of motivation. You know the story as it is told in Luke. Jesus is 12 years old and somehow he becomes separated from his mother and his father, probably because he has been such a good child. They don't worry or get concerned about him as much. And the culture of that time was more protective and overseeing of children than we have today. Because of the community element that was involved in Jesus' time, Joseph and Mary had no great concern when he hadn't shown up as they left and headed back toward their home in Nazareth. But after a day's journey, that's when the mother and the father of Jesus began to question where he was, and because they knew it was time for him to check in. When they could not find him in their caravan, they headed back to Jerusalem and looked for him because that was the last place where they last saw him. And when they finally found him 3 days after searching, this verbal exchange took place, the verses that I just read to you, that verbal exchange took place between Jesus and his parents. It leads me to where I am right now. And in this day, and in this moment, and in this time, it is interesting to think of the interaction. Listen to what occurs. They find him and they question him as to why he has acted in this manner, why he has separated himself and been gone this time. His response to their very legitimate concern is intriguing. Now, I understand it better now because I can remember now when my mother and father would give me a curfew and want me to be home at a certain time. They expected me there because that's the time that they had set and it would give them some rest and ease. My text from the New Revised Standard Version says, Mary and Joseph were astonished. They were simply just thrown off course. They were just, and you almost can't explain what a mother and a father felt. Why have you treated us like this? Now, the one who's asking the question is one who has some idea. She has kept some things in her heart from the very beginning, from the very birth of Christ, from the very inception of her pregnancy. She knew some stuff that the rest of us did not know. They took it personal because, again, he was probably such a good child, and they thought he would not do something of this nature. This occurred when they found him. That was their response. But what really caught my attention this Christmas season, this Advent, as we move toward Christmas, was Jesus' response to them. He simply said to them, his mother and his father, and it verifies one of my main points: why were you searching for me? That is the question that I want you to ponder as I rush to a close in this Christmas message. Why were you searching for me? The Christmas season, people are searching for the real deal around Christmas. And the process, they're actually searching for Christ. Advent and holy days for us as we approach Christmas has been overshadowed by the billion-dollar marketing scheme to make Christmas profitable. To those who are searching for sales-breaking records this Christmas season, as we search for Christmas, and we are searching for Christ, as Mary and Joseph were searching for their son, we are searching for that which we have been led to believe will make everything merry, joyous, and magical. Do not get me wrong. I love Christmas. I love this season. I love this time of year. I love all of the things that happen this season and all the decorations. But my heart aches when I see so many ventures that are simply in existence to help others enough, to give them enough to eat this holiday season, to help folk have clothing to wear this holiday season, to be helpful in being able to make it through this emotional time of the calendar year when it seems like things ought to be better. And they are not. They are searching for Christmas. And I'm led to lift these three brief points to support my case. The first point is simply this: Christ is not lost. When Mary and Joseph searched for Jesus in Jerusalem, Jesus was not lost. Jesus knew exactly where he was. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew the prophecy that he was fulfilling. Jesus is not one of the silver pieces missing out of the 10 from the lady who had lost one of her coins. Jesus is not the one sheep that had strayed away from the other 99 and the shepherd had to find him. Jesus is not the prodigal son who had decided in his own mind and in his own right that he could do better than his father. All three of those examples out of the Gospel of St. Luke were losses. But Jesus was not lost. The question that he asked Mary and Joseph, why are you searching for me, is evidence that he was not lost. He was holding his own and impressing those who were impressed with him. We ought to be searching for Jesus. We ought to be searching for the life that Christ has given to us to live in a way that we can be helpful, in a way that not only helps ourselves, but helps others that we encounter. We ought to be searching for Christ, not because Christ is lost, but because we are lost, and we need a direction finder to help us stay on track and to stay focused on what we are supposed to do. Yes, it is all right for us to say, I am searching for Jesus this Christmas season. And in the process, we are also saying we're searching for Christmas, the season in which we celebrate the birth of him who gives us direction, of him who gives us hope, of him who helps us in living the kind of life that we should live. But Jesus is not lost. He cannot be found in the department store. He cannot be found in beautifully wrapped gifts. He cannot be found in Christmas trees decorated from top to bottom. He cannot be found in beautiful, lit, decorated homes that celebrate this wonderful season. But we ought to be searching for Christ, and we ought to search diligently for him in the Christmas season. Second, not only is Jesus not lost, secondly, we are lost. As much as I pride myself in knowing general directions, east, west, north, and south, I am glad to have the lady in my car who tells me where I'm going and what is the best way to get there. We need help in this journey. And Christmas is a reminder of not only the help we need, but the type of help we need. As we spend time rising on how much we will spend on Christmas this season and the forecast for how profitable this Christmas season will be, we need answers. Answers to why we get lost in the hype of Christmas. Answers as to how the feeling of doing good evaporates so quickly when the decorations come down. And thirdly and lastly, the search for Christmas, for Christ and for Christmas is a valid endeavor. Christ is not lost. We are lost. And the search for Christ, for Christmas, is a valid endeavor. Someone would say every year we get a shot at doing Christmas right. We get a shot at realizing who Christ really is. And that in and of itself is enough for me to say that the search must carry on. Isaiah, the 9th chapter, and the 6th verse. All month I've been struggling from this passage of scripture, and I think it goes hand in hand with what I'm trying to do in this moment right now. It simply says, for a child has been born for us, a son is given to us, authority rests upon his shoulders, and he is named Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. I hold the search for Christ and for Christmas is worth the struggle, worth the effort, worth the time. And I simply end with this: Merry Christmas.